The Arch in St. Louis at Gateway, a shining monument to the rugged individuals who tamed the Wild West. Today, a new breed of rugged individual is here to try to tame a 1.25 mile racetrack at Gateway International. It's been 4 years since ARCA has made a stop here. Many of these teams have never run Gateway, but a few have.
I'll tell you what, Gateway International, great racetrack, but it's kind of odd, so hopefully experience pays some dividends today. I've got a little bit here, and maybe we can take it to the front.
Time to see how pumped up you are. The ARCA RE Series is buffed and ready to run. Welcome to Gateway International Raceway in Madison, Illinois, just across the river from St. Louis, for the Gateway ARCA 150, part of the ARCA RE Stock Car Series, here on Speed Vision. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rick Benjamin, joined by two-time ARCA champion Bill Venturini. Don Radabaugh is on pit road for us today. We had some rain earlier here today. They've worked hard to dry the track off, borrowing a jet dryer from Kentucky Speedway, in fact, to get things cleaned up, and we're about ready for action here at Gateway. Let's take a look at our point standings. Early part of the season here in the ARCA RE Series, and it's been a Frank Kimmel benefit so far. Coming off the event at Salem a week ago, he's got a 150-point lead over Tim Steele. Todd Boucher is 6th in points. Billy Venturini is 9th as we get ready to go racing here at Gateway. Let's check in with Don Radabaugh downstairs.
Thanks, Rick. After 4 events into the 2001 ARCA RE Series season, there have been 4 different winners. Third-generation driver Jason Jarrett would like to make it 5 different winners, coming off his best career finish of 4th last week at Salem, coupled with an outside pole here at Gateway. So far, Jason, things are looking really good, but you've got some really strong neighbors, Tim Steele alongside and Frank Kimmel and Rick Corelli off your rear deck lid. How are your chances today? Can you win this thing?
Yeah, I think we can. We've really picked up the pace the past couple of weeks, and this Biomet Pontiac's running pretty good today, and you know, as long as the rain holds off, I think we can run with Tim Steele, Frank Kimmel, and Rick Corelli, and we keep those guys in sight. That's all we can do.
We've had a little rain today recently. How does that affect your setup, or does it change things at all?
Well, everybody's in the same boat. Nobody can make any changes just yet, and we'll see under the pit stops what we have to do to make changes. I'm looking forward to a good day.
As are the rest of these ARCA Series drivers about ready to do battle. The weather could be an issue here at Gateway. 35 cars or drivers about ready to roll off. We'll be back with a green flag. Our coverage of the ARCA RE Series is being brought to you by RE/MAX. In the race to sell homes, our track record is second to none. RE/MAX, outstanding agents, outstanding results. And by Cornwell Quality Tools. Professional mechanics worldwide choose Cornwell, the official tools of ARCA. And by Suzuki ATVs, makers of the Quadmaster 500 4x4. It has the performance to keep you rolling. Welcome back to Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, where we have had weather problems this weekend. You can see that there was rain earlier. The track is dried, but Bill Venturini, the prognosis is not great for our weather this afternoon. We'll talk more about that in a moment. First, though, let's check our starting lineup. Tim Steele and Jason Jarrett on the front row. Frank Kimmel, who's won 2 straight, and Rick Corelli in row number 2.
Inside row 3, Ed Barrier, now driving the number 19 Target Saw Blade Chevrolet, and next to him, Mike Swaim Jr., another regular that runs only the Speedway races. Inside row 4, Billy Venturini in the IRM Permatex Chevrolet, next to him, Chad Blount.
Let's take a look at the 5th row. Robert Burrows in a Pontiac, and Andy Belmont from Pennsylvania in the 1 car. Next up, Mark Voigt from Marine, Illinois, and the Heiser Truck Service Chevrolet, and Doug Keller from St. Joseph, Missouri, the Van Am Tool number 5.
Row 7, inside, car number 60, Rick Markle, next to him, Joe Cooksey out of Central Illinois. Ron Cox driving the number 23 Chevrolet, next to him, Mark Gibson.
Row 9, A.J. Hendrickson from Mooresville, North Carolina, the 17, and Charlie Schaefer, the 10 car from Carlisle, Illinois. Row number 10, Norm Benning from Pittsburgh. That is a Chevrolet, the 84, and Chuck Weber from Mesquite, Texas in the 24 car.
Inside row 11, Mike Buckley driving the car number 28. Next to him, Donnie Morlock in a Ford. Inside row 12, Scott Kuhn in a 43 Pontiac, and next to him, Tim Turner.
13th row is Greg Sarf, Columbus, Ohio, and Larry Hollenbeck from Portage, Michigan. That is a Ford. Then you have Dick Tracy from Columbus, Georgia, in the 02, and Eric Martin from Chattanooga, Tennessee in the 56.
Inside row 15, second-generation driver Todd Boucher. Next to him, Kevin Belmont. Inside row 16, the infamous James Hill. Next to him, Tony Altieri.
And the final couple of starters, Mike Basham in the 34 car, Todd Antrikin's 91, and Mel Whalen from Shakopee, Minnesota in the 85 car. So 35 drivers lined up ready to do battle here today at Gateway. 1.25 miles, pretty much a flat racetrack with very tight corners, and we're running for almost $175,000, Bill.
Yeah, you made a comment about tight corners. This racetrack has got two distinct different straightaways. The back straightaway is pretty straight. The front straightaway, you'll probably hear cars bouncing off the rev limiter. That's because the front straightaway is much longer than the back straightaway.
Look at this. The 83 car, Mark Gibson, turns across the racetrack on the pace laps and gets clipped to the back end. That's the Mark Gibson Racing Chevrolet with Advanced Auto Parts on the side of that machine. Now, Gibson's a veteran driver. What happened?
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, the car turned left. You know, you could see. At first, I thought maybe he got hit, but he got hit after he turned left. I don't know. The track is wet, but I don't know. It looked like maybe something happened. He just turned left and got clipped.
Well, we've got several onboard views for you. You see how overcast the skies are. We'll ride with Andy Belmont, the America Online Ford. Belmont starting in the number 10 position out of Pendle, Pennsylvania. We'll take a ride with Rick Corelli, the High Plains drifter in the Remax Chevrolet. He lines up fourth in that 05 car. Ran really well in this machine at Nashville a few weeks ago. You saw that one here on Speed Vision. We'll take a ride as well with Frank Kimmel, the series point leader and defending champion. Kimmel lines up inside row 2 today. He's won 2 in a row on the short tracks. We'll see if he can make it 3 straight here on the big racetrack at Gateway. And Jason Jarrett from the outside pole, the Biomet 67 car. It's a Pontiac here this weekend. He's got one of our onboard cameras as well. As the field continues to circulate, trying to make sure the tires are clean and the track is totally dry before we drop the green here. Pole sitter Tim Steele hoping for a better result today. Don Radeball with his crew chief.
Well, guys, Tim Steele, as you may know, brought a brand new race car to Gateway International Raceway, and with the crew chief, Larry Moore. Larry, you're supposed to have to work the bugs out of these things first. You guys came here and put it on the pole.
Well, they got a great bunch of guys back there at the shop that's working, and there's a lot of them right here that's worked on that car a long time, and so, and that's not their first time they've built a car, so we're really tickled to have that car here in this race.
You may not know the name, but Larry Moore is one of the great short track racers in American motorsports history. Got to run a few more laps under caution to make sure the track is dry at Gateway. Welcome back to Gateway International. Rick Benjamin with Bill Venturini here on Speed Vision. A 71-degree day, Bill, and just a hint of wind.
Yeah, but you see the forecast of rain.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get this race in because we were delayed because of rain, and it doesn't look good right now.
The Gateway ARCA 150, though, is underway. Green is in the air. Steele from the pole grabs the early lead. Jason Jarrett tucks into second spot. Battle for third. You're on board with Frank Kimmel trying to hold off Rick Corelli as they dive into one. Down the back straightaway, Kimmel to the inside of Jarrett for second spot.
Clear high.
And he gets by.
That's his spotter and car owner that's talking to him on the radio. Frank Kimmel, he was saying clear high. That was just as soon as he got past Jason Jarrett, he told Frank, you're clear high, which means you can move up.
Now Jarrett in the 67 car started second. He's still stuck on the outside. Corelli got by him on the inside, coming out of fourth. So Jarrett back to fourth, and now the 19 car. Ed Barrier is going to roll by and take fourth away. Jason Jarrett can't hold the 67 car down low.
Well, you know, this track it's been raining for the last couple hours. Any type of grip or rubber that was on the track is pretty well washed away. And there's not much grip on the second groove in this racetrack anyhow. So if you get hung up there, you know, you got to kind of wait and let the freight train go by. And then, see, now he's back down on the bottom groove. Now he'll be able to hold his own.
Looks like he's pushing up high, though, even there, coming off the corner. For third place, Corelli trying to hold on against Ed Barrier steering that 19 car today. Corelli, we're on board with him. Barrier will slide by down into one.
Nice move by Ed Barrier, able to just kind of slide in there, getting into one. See those red and white stripes on the left? Those are like little speed bumps.
Yeah.
You know, don't let that, fool you.
It's not smooth.
It's not smooth there. If you hit those babies, you'll know it.
The FIA curbing here at Gateway. Of course, they've run kart champ cars here for several seasons. They won't run here this year, but the FIA curbing in there for kart in the open wheel teams. And it gives the stock car guys something to stay away from, I guess.
Yeah, but sometimes you just have a tendency to want to hook that left front tire on there. But it'll rattle your teeth a little.
Billy Venturini, Robert Burrows in the 53 car up to 8th. Venturini is 7th, just in front. In the 25 car, Jason Jarrett back to 6th now in that 67. That's the purple and yellow machine. Your leader is Steele. Second spot to Kimmel. Mike Swaim Jr. in the 22 car on the move. He moves up into 5th now behind Corelli.
Yeah, Mike Swaim, he's not running the whole ARCA schedule this year, but he's running selected races. But he's got a top-notch team, and they've got a good running car right now in the Dynatech Chevrolet.
Swaim trying to pull up behind Corelli. Corelli, of course, a regular in the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks, has a victory or two in that series. Had a great comeback by Corelli just last season from a devastating head injury that left him sightless in his right eye. His eye has come back.
Yeah, that was a kind of a... I talked to his wife Kathy and him about it, and you know, I had a what they said a life-threatening crash many years ago, and you do a lot of soul searching while you're sitting at home wondering, do I really want to do this? And let me tell you, the minute you're saying, I'm not sure, you get back in a race car, usually by the, I'd say, second or third lap, you forget about all the heartaches, and you say, okay, let's go race.
And Corelli has done that in spades, although here, having a little trouble, Mike Swaim Jr. to the inside for 4th spot. They're door to door down the back chute.
You got, if you notice the sponsor on Rick Corelli's car, Remax, that's also the series sponsor for the ARCA series. Rick has had an affiliation with Remax for as long as I've known Rick, so, it's not like he came in and, so to speak, got part of the series sponsor. I think he brought his sponsor in to be the series sponsor.
Davey Liniger, who owns Remax, is the backer. In fact, drives occasionally in the Winston West Series in that same car.
And we're thankful that him and his company like racing.
Absolutely. Riding with Jason Jarrett up onto the back straightaway. The outside pole sitter in the 67 car has given up a lot of racetrack here in the early going. Steele, your leader in the 16. Kimmel 2 car lengths back in the 46 in second. And here comes Barrier. Now, you may not know Ed Barrier particularly well. He's a veteran of the NASCAR Busch Series, and in fact has a Busch Series win not very many years ago, driving the Lear 77 car up at Hickory.
Now, you've done your homework.
Been around a while, just like you, my friend.
And they've already started to lap some cars. They've gone around the 21 car of Todd Bowser and the 13 car of Tony Altieri already.
The 19 car has been driven by Tracy Leslie on the short tracks this season, and he's done a great job. In fact, we thought he had a winning horse with that machine a week ago at Salem. Here they bring Barrier to drive the car at Gateway.
Yeah, they've had some mechanical woes this year. First Tracy was running good at Winchester, broke a motor, then he broke a gear at Salem, and now you've got Ed Barrier driving. And actually, the owner of the car, Kevin Counselor, is one of the 3 drivers scheduled to run that car for the whole season.
So they'll have to put different seats in that car quite a few times this year. Trouble perhaps for Andy Belmont in the 1 car. Belmont off the pace to the inside of the racetrack. We're on board with Andy, running 21st. He has backslid quickly after starting up toward the front today.
Yeah, this is not something Andy Belmont wanted to see happen. He's up there in the points battle for the championship this year, and to have problems this early in the race is not a good thing.
He's pulled to the inside of the racetrack here on the straightaway. Started 10th. He's given up 11 spots already in the early going. Steele leads Kimmel, Barrier, and Swaim early at Gateway. Back at Gateway International here on Speed Vision. ARCA Remax action for you today. Rick Corelli battling with Jason Jarrett for 5th spot as they come onto the front stretch at Gateway. Long straightaways. This is kind of a big Martinsville in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, the straightaways are different, and the way you enter the corners are different. So you may give up something in one corner to get a better advantage in, say, 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4.
Not a lot of banking here, as you can see. Pretty much a flat racetrack, so the emphasis is definitely on handling. Corelli is out handling Jason Jarrett right now, and I think that's where the 67 has given it up here in the early going. After qualifying second, he has backpedaled quite a bit.
Yeah, and this is the first race, I think, this year where brakes are going to play part of the race here, where you can see, looking in front of Billy Venturini's car, you see the holes we had to put in front of the car to get some brake ducts, because this is the first track this year where brakes are a big key on stopping the car getting into the corner.
You need extra air in there to cool those front calipers and rotors off to make the brakes work properly, of course. On board, Rick Corelli still riding 5th, holding back Jarrett and Venturini, trying to get up into that battle for the top 4 spots. Corelli doing a nice job here, but not quite as quick as the leaders. He's given up a lot of ground also.
Yeah, well, we've been seeing too much of that all year long. These 2 guys seem to take off and get in their own zip code versus everyone else.
Steele and Kimmel have been so dominant this year. What makes the difference for those 2 teams? Do they do more testing than everybody else? What's the situation?
Well, I think the biggest situation is they've got key people that have been with them for more than 1 year. Both the guys have the crews that have been with them for a couple years, and the money. And look at this.
Right, no, outside.
Kimmel for the inside, challenge challenging for the lead down the back straightaway, door to door, and he blows off Steele going down into 3.
Yeah, and they were very cautious on going by the lap car of Norm Benning. But getting back to what we were saying, these are probably the 2 best funded teams in the series. So along with having the key people, which you need the money to pay them, they have the best financial sponsorships out of the whole program.
And Kimmel looks as though he's picked up some paint or something on the nose of that car.
Yeah, that's not something that's going to affect them, but I think it's more annoying for us. I want to go over there and peel it off.
Looks like it's grown some hair up front there, the Advanced Auto Parts Ford. We've talked about how Kimmel uses different automobiles. They're a Taurus team on a big track. They're a Chevy team on a short track.
Yeah, well, their engine program, they feel, I don't know if I shouldn't say that. I'm watching, I get inside these in-car camera shots. Yeah, I do. You notice that. You notice I'm putting my foot on the brake pedal. I'm turning the steering wheel.
We need to get you a video game.
You see the flames coming out of Tim Steele's car when he backs off the throttle, getting in the corner? That's just raw fuel going into the exhaust pipes, and it's just burning. It's nothing that you have to worry about. It's something that happens a lot in these race cars.
2 leaders lapped by the 28 car, Mike Buckley from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Meantime, we noticed Andy Belmont slowing down. He'd given up 15 spots on the racetrack, slowly down on pit road, right in front of Todd Bowsher. The hood is up on the 21 car as well.
Man, we saw him slow down earlier, and we didn't know what was wrong. And I guess he's definitely got a mechanical problem. They're under the hood looking right now.
Andy's younger brother, Kevin Belmont, who drives the 2nd car for this team occasionally, diving under the hood to see. Apparently, the engine missing in that car. They think a plug wire may well have come off. Meantime, out in front, Frank Kimmel now, after getting by Steele, he's put the 16 deep in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, but I noticed that barrier's closing up a little on him.
Rick Corelli in the 05, Mike Swaim in the 22, fighting it out for position down the backstretch as well. Corelli rides 4th in the 05 car. Talking about Rick and the Remax team and how he's backed them, or they backed him for so many years. 2 years ago, he took a try at Winston Cup with Remax backing. Didn't work out the way they wanted to. He's found a home in the Craftsman trucks, though, and he's done very well there.
Okay, you have to mention Rick Corelli and Winston Cup. I got to tell you, probably about 6 years ago, we were at Phoenix. He was running the Southwest Tour in the Cup race. He crashed his car in the Southwest Tour, which I was racing in the Southwest Tour car for Ron Hornaday, whichever one of Ron Hornaday's cars. And I had to go out in happy hour and shake down Corelli's car for the Cup race because he was in the hospital.
Oh, boy. Well, you do have some seat time in this type of automobile, too, so he could have put it in better hands, I wouldn't think. On board, taking a quick look out the back end of Jason Jarrett's machine. Here's Steele with the 19 of Barrier, and Barrier's going to try to challenge for 2nd spot here.
Yeah, I noticed the last couple laps, Barrier's definitely closed up the gap between him and Tim Steele. Actually, it looks like he's closing up the gap between him and Kimmel, too.
That last camera shot, I think, gives you a good idea of the difference in the corners that you've talked about. There's a lot of banking as you come out of turn 2 here.
Well, you call it a lot to me as a race car driver. If I'm not turned sideways,
Daytona,
yeah, right.
Jump on board with Andy Belmont. They've got the plug wire problem fixed, they think, in the 1 car. Belmont back out on the racetrack, but still not quite up to speed as he accelerates down the front stretch.
Yeah, I didn't want you to think that looking out that windshield that he had a dirty windshield. That's how overcast it is right now with the threat of rain.
The 19 of Barrier still 3rd, trying to close in on Steele's 16 car. Tim is 2nd. Off the 2nd corner and down the backstretch. Leading by the 75 machine of Larry Hollenbeck from Portage, Michigan.
That car's owned by Bob Shack, which, if anyone knows anything about ARCA, Bob Shack's a seasoned veteran driver and car owner in this series.
Disappointed that Bob isn't driving this year.
Well, there comes a point in our lives when you gotta say, I'm just getting too old for this.
That has to stop James Hill.
Well, yeah. And as some people say, sometimes I'm getting a little too large for this.
Did you need the special cut-down window to get in the car? Riding again with Kimmel, who's your leader. He's lapping a lot of race cars here in the early going.
It's coming up
on the 17 car there.
A.J. Hendrickson, the Engineer Components company car. There's another one of those young guns that I've been mentioning all year long about the young guns and the rookies versus the veterans. That's one of the new up-and-coming young guns in this series.
Kimmel all alone out in front in the 46 car. We've seen a lot of that car at the top of the leaderboard. That number, the 46, has paced the lap charts in ARCA a whole lot so far in 2001. Blowing down the back straightaway all by himself in that Advanced Auto Parts Pork the Other White Meat Ford Taurus.
Yeah, you know,
car up against the wall there, looked like up in turn 3. We'll see if that'll bring out a yellow, and it will. Charlie Schaefer, the Schaefer Racing Chevrolet, has stopped on the racetrack. Looks like he may have gotten to the wall and gets it refired. We jump on board with Andy Belmont. We'll take a timeout. We're at Gateway International for the ARCA RE/MAX Series. We're back at Gateway International Raceway, the ARCA RE/MAX Series, the Gateway ARCA 150 here on Speed Vision. Leaders come down pit road, but what about this? Frank Kimmel says no, he'll stay on the racetrack. The 16 on pit road. Here's Don.
Well, Tim Steele had been complaining about his race car that was really, really loose. Their opportunity to fix it here. They're going to try to tighten it up with an air pressure adjustment. Also going to take a few rounds off the track bar, a couple of rounds actually, off the track bar. Right side tires already on the 16 car, going to work on the left side. Now they've already got the one lap to go through. Going green next time by, they're going to have to hurry, and they do. Steele and Rick Corelli are off and away.
They must have felt as though Steele needed those adjustments to be competitive. Otherwise, you wouldn't think he'd give up the track position.
Yeah, especially with the threat of rain, you know, because we may end up only running 60 laps. You never know, because you have to run halfway to have a complete race. Right now, I know our strategy, because I talked to my son before the race, was let's try not to pit. You know, let's try and hang out there for the first 60 laps.
About ready to go green once again. Kimmel will be your restart leader. A couple of the lead cars. You saw the 16 of Steele, who was running second. The 05 of Corelli had been fourth before that pit stop. Ed Barrier lines up second now behind Kimmel. And we'll see if Barrier's got anything for the 46 car as the field comes back to the stripe to take the green. Lead lap cars on the high side. Lapped cars down low. Kimmel up through the gearbox, and we're back underway.
Yeah, remember before we had the yellow, Barrier, I thought was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Let's see if he's able to keep up and catch Kimmel. Right now, Frank's pulling away.
Yep, Kimmel has opened up about 8 car lengths already right off the drop of the green. Robert Burrows from Laurel, Mississippi, third there in the 53 car. Riding with Kimmel down into the third corner here at Gateway. You can see just how cloudy a day it is here. There's the gap between Kimmel and Barrier in the blue and black Target Saws 19 car. Now it's about 15 car lengths.
Yeah, you can see that the number 53, Robert Burrows, is able to hang on with that Barrier right now.
Rest of the field strings out behind, looking for some of the faster cars. Here's Steele trying to race his way back up through the pack. He's tucked in behind Corelli, and they're making tracks.
Yeah, him and Corelli, you got to remember, those two cars came down pit road and put on fresh tires right now, so they should have an advantage for about the next 10 or 15 laps.
Corelli will swing to the inside of one of the slower vehicles. The 28 car will put another lap down. That's Mike Buckley's machine. Corelli's got the 16 of Steele in tow. And I would think drafting here might work. This is a big enough track.
Yeah, this is definitely a big enough track where drafting will play part on how you run down the straightaway. And as we say, look at Tim Steele's going underneath Corelli. Corelli closes the door on him.
Steele wants 7th from Corelli, able to keep the car down lower. Now that adjustment may well have worked because Steele's able to turn to the inside.
Yeah, you got to remember, Tim Steele not only put tires on, he did make a chase. Look at the hood bounce. Now that's the air coming off the car in front of Rick Corelli, making the hood bounce like that.
Steele somehow finds room to the inside of the 05 car. There's a slower car directly ahead. The 33 machine is there. And Steele will get by and pick off 7th spot from Corelli.
Yeah, that was a pretty gutsy move because, you know, Tim Steele's racing Corelli, but at the same time, he's got to be very careful on what that lap car is going to do.
Another quick car, the 22 of Mike Swaim Jr. in there as well. So you've got 3 cars that are pretty fast coming up through the field together. And here comes the 77, Chad Blount, in 6th position. He's about to get dropped out of that spot by Steele.
Well, now Chad did not come down the pits when I should say, the 3 cars, Tim Steele and Corelli and Swaim, all 3 had come down pit road.
So Steele very quick after the tire change and the chassis adjustment to work his way by the 10 car of Charlie Schaefer. He had spun and brought out that caution. So Schaefer a lap down. Chad Blount now tucks in behind the 16 car.
And that is the first time I've ever seen Chad Blount run the ARCA series. He's a I guess what you call a true rookie in the series.
Wow. And he was a nice job here in the early
And he was real quick. He's got a beautiful piece of equipment, nice car, and he's been able to, he spun it in practice. I know that. They did a little damage, got it fixed, and I got to give the kid credit. He's back racing, and he's racing pretty hardy right now.
That is Blount of the red Ford there, the 77. He's got Corelli behind him and Swaim Jr. A couple of drivers of excellent pedigree there behind the 77 car. But this allows Steele to open up some ground on these other 2 machines.
Yeah, but you got to remember, the one who's opening up the most ground right now is Frank Kimmel.
Yeah, Kimmel, I think, has crossed the state line, and he's on his way up through Illinois at this point.
I was trying to listen to see if you can hear the car bounce off the rev limiter, but that's the back straightaway. If you're going to hear it, it's going to happen on the front straightaway.
Swaim trying to get close to the 05 of Corelli. He, in turn, trying to find a way to get up and run with Chad Blount, and then Steele. But Steele is really making some headway here. Coming up behind the 17 of A.J. Hendrickson, who is 16th.
Yeah, he's
not on the lead lap.
Not on the lead lap, right. He's a lap down.
And the 85 car getting put another lap down by the 22. The 85 machine, Mel Whalen from Shakopee, Minnesota.
And that is the same Mel Whalen that I think many, many years ago, I remember running ASA in Artco with a guy named Mel Whalen.
Yeah, he's a short track veteran from up in that area. You see him occasionally. In fact, I saw him in ASA the last 2 years at the Minnesota State Fair only.
Yeah, that's because he's from Minnesota, so he's always up there.
Hendrickson in the 17 car, Corelli in the 05. Hendrickson's hanging on for the moment, even though he's not on the lead lap. Yeah, Corelli trying to get going and get around him.
I'm surprised. It looks like AJ must have gone down early. You know, I don't know if he had problems or not, but he went down a lap real early in the race, and now he seems to be holding his own.
Corelli hauls it down into turn 3 in that Remax Chevrolet.
But you see the car push up just a little right in the center of the corner. The car definitely has a little push, but it seems like he's able to get it right in the center and turn back down, and the car has great bite coming off the corner.
Corelli holding up back around 7th, 8th spot. Mike Swaim in that battle for position. Check back in on your leader. Frank Kimmel just down the backstretch all by himself in that advanced Ford. Just lapping by the 75, the Bob Schacht automobile being driven today by Larry Hollenbeck from Portage, Michigan.
You know, earlier we had talked about the Chevy and Ford swap between Kimmel, and he feels, and the rules, I guess, kind of play an advantage to the Ford Taurus, and he really likes the way this car handles. He said that, you know, it's got great downforce, and then I guess it's a Joe Ryan motor in it, and it's got great power in the Ford. He just likes it right now.
There's the 19 with Ed Barrier piloting today. He is second. The target saw his Chevrolet. Car was very quick on the short track at Salem last week at the hands of Tracy Leslie. One car down on power. Looked like the one car of Andy Belmont with more motor problems, perhaps. He is slow down the backstretch as the faster cars move by on the high side.
That's the first time we're seeing the number 43 car of Scott Kuhn out of Thomasville, North Carolina.
The 05 of Corelli, the 22 of Swaim battling for position right behind the 25 of Billy Venturini, who's solidly in the top 10 here today. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, especially seeing we didn't pit. He's still on the same old tires we started the race with, so he's holding his own right now.
Now Swaim starting to close in on Corelli's machine. Mike Swaim looking for a way around, perhaps. You jump on board here with Corelli to the inside of Venturini. Kimmel and Barrier still pace the show here at Gateway. We're back at Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, just across the river from St. Louis. The ARCA Remax Series here on Speed Vision. Good battle for 5th spot. Rick Corelli still hanging on against Mike Swaim Jr. in the 22. Bill Venturini, if you're Swaim at this point, what are you thinking? What are you trying to do to get up on that 05 and get by him?
Well, you know, he's got the same tires that I do now, so you know that's not an advantage. You just got to say, okay, where's he beating me? He's beating me down the straightaway in the corners, and right now it looks like Corelli's beating him down the straightaway. When that happens, you can't do anything.
Here's the guy who's beaten everybody all over this racetrack. Frank Kimmel, the series point leader and defending champion, the Advanced Auto Parts Ford Taurus. Kimmel jumping to the lead early on here today after starting in 3rd spot, and he has just put everybody deep in his rearview mirror.
You know, I bet you if we had those tire spikes that the police use like for when these guys are
would that stop him?
You know, I don't know. But I'll guarantee if I threw some out there, I'd have a bunch of happy other drivers. They'd probably pay me to do something.
It's got to be frustrating for the rest of these teams, as strong as Kimmel's group has been all season long since Daytona. It's fine second place here on the racetrack. He's just gone by. Yeah. This is the battle for 4th and 5th again between Corelli and the 22 of Swaim. The other lead car is already on the backstretch. Corelli still keeping Swaim behind him here.
Yeah, you can see, watch right here. Looks like See, right in the corner, Swaim's able to close up on him. So Mike Swaim's doing everything he can as a driver. As they come off the corner, they've got the car, as they say, on the mat. And watch, Corelli pulls away right there. You can see, so that's strictly motor. As Mike Swaim as a driver, he's getting frustrated now.
Yeah, he has to be. Now, you told us earlier that this would be a brake track. Maybe for the first time all year, brakes could be a factor. If you're Swaim, do you drive in deeper and use more brakes?
Ooh, you know, hard to say. If his brakes are good and they feel, you know, they feel hard and he doesn't feel any fade, definitely. I'd drive it in maybe one car length deeper. Try and see if I can close it up on him. Maybe he won't have a bigger advantage coming up, but you can see what happens here. You know, they come off the corner and Corelli pulls him.
Taking a look at Jason Jarrett in the 67 car. Jason started up front once again here, qualified second in that Pontiac. He's running strongly today, but all by himself on the racetrack.
Yeah, look at this. You're looking at the shot. You can see they get into the corner. Now, you're really hard on the brakes here. You can see this corner is really kind of tight. You get into the next corner, and it's a little more sweeping. You're not on the brakes as hard.
Jarrett up to the wall down the back straightaway in the Biomet Pontiac, the 67 car, the ML Motorsports machine. They're switching car brands as well. They're using Pontiac on the speedways, Chevrolets on the short tracks, as does Kimmel's team.
Well, you know, when you have that luxury of having a lot of extra cars, I guess you can do that.
So Jarrett riding in 8th. Meantime, let's check back in a little closer to the front. Here's Tim Steele in the 16 car, trying to close in Robert Burrows there in the 53. He's been surprisingly strong. He's been up toward the front all afternoon so far. He's third.
And Robert Burrows running third, yeah, but he's been strong. I've noticed in the last year, Robert Burrows has been doing an excellent job. He runs good at Nashville. He runs good at Kentucky. As a matter of fact, him and my son Billy ran side by side at Michigan last year for like 15 laps. So he's really coming into his own right now.
So this is the battle for third spot. Steele, your pole sitter, pitted early on. They adjusted the car and threw new tires at it. And Steele maybe a little bit quicker, but he's unable, neither he nor Burrows are able to get up anywhere near Frank Kimmel, who's all alone out in front.
I was just going to say, look at Burrows' push coming off the corner. Yeah. And Steele saw it too and stuck his nose underneath him.
He'll go by Donnie Morlock's lap car to the inside. And Steele with a shot at getting third away from Burrows, and he does it. And Burrows right back at him, though, in the corner.
Yeah, but that won't last long because that, like I said earlier, the bottom groove right now is where you want to be. That's where all the grip is because of the rain.
So Steele takes over third in the HS Stye Ford. See if he can run down the leaders here.
And I noticed a little sun coming out. Look, we're getting a little shadow here.
It's been an overcast day. We had a lot of rain earlier. The forecast is for more rain. Not sure if we'll get the entire show in, the whole 120 laps here at Gateway International and the Gateway ARCA 150. Steele in clear racetrack now, and there's Burrows. Corelli, meantime, for 5th, trying to hold on against Mike Swaim, who runs 6th.
Yeah, you can see these cars are now starting to finally bunch up between, what is it, 6th through 3rd?
Yeah. Down the home stretch here at Gateway. On board with Corelli down into the first corner. Ed Barrier rides 2nd, but he's nowhere near Frank Kimmel at Gateway.
Guys, we talked about the weather at the onset. There were some earlier rain showers. There is still plenty of rain in the area. Keep in mind, this is a 120-lap event. We only need 60 laps to call it official, with now about 43, 44 laps on the board. A full tank of gas can go about 60 or 65 laps, depending on who you talk to. That's why some of those guys may have elected to stay trackside, like leader Frank Kimmel and the 19 car of Ed Barrier, as opposed to those who came down pit road like Tim Steele and Rick Corelli. Rain could be a factor in this one. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
So we're about 15 laps from halfway, Bill Venturini. It doesn't seem to have affected Kimmel any that he hasn't come to pit road yet.
No, you know, I know my son Billy didn't pit and a few other guys didn't pit. And Kimmel, you know, you'd say, okay, those guys are going to start to give up track position because they're on old tires. But nobody told Frank Kimmel this. I mean, this guy thinks he's out there on fresh tires.
He's got everything else going his way. Maybe he's figured out a way to make the tires live longer than anybody else.
Now, wait a minute. That's called cheating.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not accusing anybody of that.
Nah, Frank Kimmel and his crew, bunch of nice guys. I've really enjoyed racing with them all year. You know, I've been racing with Frank for many years, or his brother Bill, and I'm really excited being able to race with these guys every race now.
This is just a good handling race car. There's no two ways about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Here's a battle for 4th spot now. Robert Burrows trying to hang on to that purple and yellow and orange 53 car, but all of a sudden Rick Corelli right behind him loosens Burrows up on the straightaway.
I don't know if it was just air or his bumper that loosened him up, but you can definitely see Robert Burrows get a little sideways. Now here's where I feel that, you know, Corelli and Swaim had pitted, Burrows didn't. Now Robert Burrows is paying the price.
Corelli on the outside in that Remax Chevrolet, going around Burrows. He'll tow Swaim along for the ride. Burrows will give up 2 spots here on the backstretch.
Yeah, but you know, you got to remember, we're talking about pitting halfway mark. If this thing doesn't end halfway, now the guys that didn't pit, they're hung out there now. Now are they going to run out of fuel?
Yeah. We've only had 1 caution so far, and it was not for a huge incident by any means. So conceivably, we could go with no other yellow flags, and you might have to make a green flag stop.
Yeah, and then that's where the strategy of Frank Kimmel and Robert Burrows and Billy isn't going to pay off, and is going to say these guys that pitted definitely knew what they were doing.
Now, this race is 150 miles long. You can't go that far on a tank of fuel.
No, you can't. We figure we can run probably about, I think we figured about 75 laps, somewhere right in that area before we run out of fuel. So let me tell you, you know, once they get to that 60 lap mark where the race is official, now all of a sudden you're starting to panic. Oh gosh, we need a yellow. Now we got to pit.
Yeah. So you can expect to see some of these cars that have not yet come to pit road think about making a move to pit road pretty soon. This is going to be a battle for second spot. Tim Steele with the fresh tires and the adjustment to the setup of the 16 car. He's caught up to Ed Barrier in the 19. They're just a couple of car lengths apart.
Well, the advantage that Tim Steele has right now is, even though he's got the fresh tires, he's got what, 20 more laps on fuel than everyone else. So he's got the advantage right now, especially over Frank Kimmel.
While we were discussing that situation, talk about an advantage. Mike Swaim has just rolled right by Rick Corelli. So Swaim picks off an important spot, and he is now 4th.
Well, that tells me that Corelli's handling must be going away, because earlier it was definitely his motor that was pulling Mike Swaim. Now that Swaim passes him, that means that the handling's going away.
Steele with a good new setup under that 16 car to the inside of Barrier. They hit turn 3, and Steele will grab second spot. So Tim Steele, the pole sitter, coming strong here. He's got a brand new race car this weekend. We talked to him about it.
It's everything we hoped and expected that it would be. It's really good to be able to come with a brand new piece of equipment where nothing on it has ever turned a lap on the racetrack, and unload and be good from the time you unload, which means the guys back at the HS Dive or HS Motorsports means they all know what time it is and what they're doing. You know, they can pat themselves on the back. There was not one little problem at all with the car, and that's really makes you feel good when you're the one in the seat when things like that can happen.
You know, he's talking about a new car, but one thing I've noticed the last couple laps, his right front brake rotor is really glowing red. I had said earlier at the beginning of this race, this is the first racetrack that we're going to test everybody's brake systems.
Yeah.
And right now, Tim Steele's brakes, they're a little iffy. I don't think they should be glowing red right now.
How about testing by Mike Swaim? He's going to test Ed Barrier now for 3rd spot. Lap car in the way. Swaim will make an inside move coming off the 2nd corner. He'll roll by. So Barrier gives up a couple of spots. Could be another situation where his tires are starting to give up.
Yeah, but you know, Mike Swaim looks like he's stepped it up a notch right now, and he's definitely pushing the button, trying to get to the front.
So Swaim is 3rd in the 22 car. Steele is 2nd in the 16. Maybe those 2 cars can hook up and draft and get up a little closer to Frank Kimmel, who has dominated the show here at Gateway. We'll be back. Welcome back to Gateway, the ARCA RE Series on Speed Vision. A couple of great battles starting to take shape. Tim Steele in the 16 has climbed to 2nd. He's got Mike Swaim in the 22 right behind him in 3rd, and they're trying to track down leader Frank Kimmel. And we could be getting late in the going here, Bill Venturini.
Yeah, I also noticed that Tim Steele's left front brake rotor is now glowing red. So both of his front rotors are getting hot. He may experience some brake failure problems later on during the race.
Cars running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and Barrier right there in the 19 car, lapping by the 10 of Charlie Schaefer. A couple of laps down. Steele plenty quick, but he's using up those brakes, and Swaim looks like he may have enough to get up and get by Steele here.
Yeah, Mike Swaim is really starting to work the back end of Tim Steele. I think what's going to happen here is that Tim's going to start to push is what's going to happen. When you start to lose your front brakes, the car's going to start to push up in the center of the corner.
Nobody has anything for Kimmel. He's led much of the show here at Gateway, all by himself in the 46 car way out in front. Can't even see the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars.
24 car on the bottom there, getting into 3.
Larry Clement, the team owner, is spotting for Kimmel, talking to his driver, reminding him to watch out for the 24 on the inside.
Yeah, right now, Frank's got to worry about his fuel gauge pretty soon, I think.
Around the halfway point, the leader, Kimmel, has yet to stop. Weather a factor. Drivers and teams thinking, hey, we may only run 60 or so laps here today, and we can do it on a tank of gas and a set of tires. Swaim is quick. Look at this. He gobbles up steel coming out of turn 4 with no problem at all.
Mike Swaim's car is just handling perfect. Look, it turns down, it stands on the throttle, and it comes off the corner.
So Mike Swaim Jr. with a good run to second spot. As we take a look at some of the other competitors, Kimmel off of turn 4. Swaim may have a quick enough race car to get up and challenge, but we're concerned about the weather. The clouds have rolled back in here. It's sprinkling at several places around the racetrack. In fact, it's raining hard here on the front straightaway. As the field gets the crossed flags, the yellow flag waves, and the corner workers start to display the red flag, and the fans start looking for cover here at Gateway International. So rain on the speedway for the second time today. And the leader, Kimmel, says, yeah, come on, I like this.
Yeah, this is something Frank Kimmel wouldn't mind if they said, let's stop the race now. He'll still collect all the money.
Well, the rain seems to be picking up steam here. The clouds have rolled back in. We're just past halfway, so this one would be official if it does go to conclusion at this point. And we're getting word from the ARCA RE/MAX Series officials that, in fact, this will be it, that the red flag and the checkered flag will wave here at Gateway, and Frank Kimmel will have won his 3rd consecutive ARCA RE/MAX Series event in the ARCA RE/MAX Series race here at Gateway, the Gateway ARCA 150. Scheduled to go 150 miles. We're just past the 75-mile mark, but that's good enough to put this one in the record books, and Kimmel will come home the winner once again here this afternoon. I certainly think that's justified. Billy's had the dominant car since the drop of the green.
Well, yeah, and the rain's starting to come down really heavy right now in the back straightaway, and you know, you don't want to take the chance of wrecking these race cars, because believe me, without treads on these tires, they do not turn when this racetrack is wet.
So Kimmel rolls around, the rest of the field slowing down. Kimmel will defeat Mike Swaim, Tim Steele, and Ed Barrier. Rick Corelli grabs 5th at Gateway, ahead of Robert Burrows, Jason Jarrett, Billy Venturini in 8th, Chad Blount and Joe Cooksey. Your second 10, Mark Boyd and Ron Cox. Chuck Weber finishes in 20th spot.
A.J. Henderson ends up 16th. You know, the young rookie had some problems, got a lap down early, but had a good finish.
In 21st through 30th, Larry Hollenbeck and Donnie Morlock. Andy Belmont with motor problems, and the Minnesota veteran Mel Whalen there.
Todd Bowser comes home 27th.
Kevin Belmont and Dick Tracy, James Silton, Todd Entricken, Eric Martin rounding out our field here at Gateway. So the red flag is being displayed. ARCA officials have decided that that is it. This one will end just past halfway. With the red out, the pace car out, the field will come to a halt on pit road. We'll come back to wrap this one up in a moment. Our coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX Series is being brought to you by RE/MAX. In the race to sell homes, our track record is second to none. RE/MAX, outstanding agents, outstanding results. And by Cornwell Quality Tools. Professional mechanics worldwide choose Cornwell, the official tools of ARCA. And by Suzuki ATVs, makers of the Quadmaster 500 4x4. It has the performance to keep you rolling. To Don Radabaugh, who's in victory lane with our winner.
Well, Frank Kimmel, it helps to be lucky and it helps to be good. You were lucky and good today. Congratulations.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, sometimes everybody says you don't like to win it that way, but I really like it. It's okay. You know, we were going to have to pit pretty quickly, probably about another 10, 15 laps. We were going to get low on fuel, and this thing was running so good, it seemed to run better the longer it went. So I was really happy with the tires. Hoosier got a great tire here, and I just did good. To advance all the parts forward was tough. I knew we could get to victory lane pretty soon.
Yes, some of the other front runners had to come down pit road on that first pit stop. They had some loose race car conditions, but yours is pretty good right off the beat.
Yeah, you know, my hat's off to Bill and the whole crew. I was dealing with the truck a lot today and didn't get a chance to go over there, but last night we got our heads together and decided we actually changed a couple of springs and a shock and a sway bar this morning and after having the fastest car in happy hour last night. But we knew it just wasn't as good as we thought it should be, and so we took a chance, threw some stuff at it, and first 2 or 3 laps I didn't know if it helped or not, but after about 5 or 6 laps I started catching back up to him, and I knew it was just a matter of time we get back ahead. You know, that's the way it was. It was great.
Did you guys discuss discuss the weather at all? I mean, was that the strategy from the start, stay out in case it rains?
Well, nobody gets to discuss anything on this team. Larry Clement talks most of the time, so, and he kept saying, it's going to rain, so stay out, stay out. So
well, he owns the place, doesn't he?
He owns the car, so we have to do what he says. He made the great call. He told us exactly when it was going to rain and said it's going to start raining, and it'll quit, and then it's going to start raining again. So, you know, he was right.
Well, after this round of ARCA Series action at Gateway, Kimmel stretches his point lead over Tim Steele. Joe Cooksey and Billy Venturini battling for 6th ahead of Todd Boucher.
Well, you were second today, Mike Swaim Jr. Congratulations. A great run. Kind of a moot point, but could you have run with a 46 car had we not gotten some weather?
I don't think that would have been a problem. You know, we changed tires, and a few of us did, and, you know, 46 and a couple of others didn't. And, you know, because of that, they suffered a little bit. We were catching them, but we just ran out of time, and, you know, maybe 10, 15 more laps, they'd have ran out of gas, too. So, you know, we feel really lucky to finish second today. We changed so much on this car after happy hour, you probably wouldn't believe it, but we're really close to figuring out this new Monte Carlo because Keith Strunk and I have never worked with it. So, you know, it's a good day for Dynatech and Chevrolet.
We invite you to keep tabs on the entire ARCA RE/MAX series. Dial us up on the web at www.arcaracing.com. Tim Steele, the pole sitter, finishes third.
Third today, Tim Steele. Congratulations. How was it from your angle out there?
It was about 57 laps short. You know, I think we needed, for us, we wish this thing would have went all the way. You know, we came here with a brand new car and didn't get a chance to really run too many long runs with the thing. And, you know, we needed to be able to do a little bit of adjusting on the thing. But I guess coming here with a new car, it's third's not bad. You know, you always want to win everything you enter in. But, you know, we'll settle with a third for now.
Well, that does it from Gateway International. Frank Kimmel, your winner. Radio communications for our broadcasts are provided by